This is KGW News at noon.
Well, in case you forgot that fall is here, here's your reminder. Gray day outside. This is the shot from our Rose City Skycam on this Monday afternoon. And yes, lots of rainy spots all across Oregon and Southwest Washington today. I'm Drew Carney. Welcome to the news at noon. And there is Rod Hill ready to talk some more about the weather and all that rain we're seeing, Rod.
Yeah, you know, it looked like this morning and our Futurecast models indicated we would have some breaks in the rain. We'd have a heavy shower line, then a little dry time, then a heavy shower line. Instead, as you know by now, it's simply been steady light to moderate rain falling all morning long. This has been going on at this point for coming up on a good 6 to 8 hours, depending on where you are. And you can see it's still channeling from south to north up across the area. We do have some drying currently at the coast. And by the way, see this little line back here? These speckled cumulus clouds? That's an upper level disturbance trough line that will swing through this evening. And that could give us some possible thunder and lightning this evening, maybe around 8 o'clock or so. So we're watching that. But again, the radar right now, the big story is here up and down I-5. It's just steady rain. Since last evening, downtown Portland here at KGW, we've picked up 0.8 of an inch of total rainfall. Cannon Beach live for you. Still raining here, 57 degrees. The end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center and the entire metro area looks like this, right? Solid overcast skies, the wet roads on I-5 from the Rose City camera. Temperature is not going to do much this afternoon. Maybe we'll climb up to 63. And again, if we get some breaks in the steady rain, that will heighten that chance that maybe you hear a rumble of thunder a little bit later today. We'll have your complete forecast coming up shortly.
All right, Rob, we look forward to that in about 15 minutes. Right now, though, we want to get to our top news story this afternoon. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says a deputy shot and killed a person during a traffic stop early this morning in Happy Valley. So here are the details we know so far. This shooting happened near Southeast 145th and King Road at around 2 o'clock this morning. According to the Sheriff's Office, the deputy pulled someone over. They eventually tried to take the person into custody, and that's when the shooting happened. The person died on the scene. The Clackamas County Major Crimes Team and the Clackamas County District Attorney's Office are both involved in the investigation to find out what exactly happened during the stop that led up to this shooting. Oregon lawmakers, meanwhile, hope the state's new gun law will help slow down the violent trend we've seen the last couple of years. In Portland alone, just this year, there have already been more than 920 shootings. So here's some more on the new law that went into effect on Saturday. It allows places like the state capitol, airports, schools, and universities to ban firearms inside their buildings. And in an effort to cut down the number of unintentional shootings, the law also calls for guns to be securely stored and locked when they're not being used. Oregon State Senator James Manning Jr., one of the chief sponsors of this bill, says it may take time, but he hopes the new law brings about positive change.
It's about accountability, and hopefully we will get to a place where we don't have all of this gun violence, innocent people being killed. We got a lot of work to do, and we got a long ways to go.
So here are two more things to keep in mind about the new gun law. One, if someone brings a gun into a place that can now ban guns, that person can face up to a year in prison. And also, if you own a gun and it's not locked and secured, and it gets into the wrong hands, you can face a fine anywhere between $500 and $2,000. Today is the final day for Oregon lawmakers to reach a compromise on the state's plan for redistricting. Republicans and Democrats arrived at the Capitol a few hours ago to hash things out, but a final decision hasn't been made, at least not yet. If the two parties cannot come to an agreement today, the responsibility of drawing up new district maps for Oregon will go to the Secretary of State and a committee of 5 judges. The story is going to continue to develop over the next few hours, so we'll keep you posted with updates throughout the day on KGW.com. We're also seeing more COVID cases impacting local classrooms. At Portland's Grant High School, 2 people have tested positive for COVID, although the school says only people who actually came in contact with them will have to quarantine. Different story, though, altogether at Lewis and Clark Elementary School in St. Helens. That entire school is switching to remote learning because of suspected COVID cases. The school sent out this letter to parents. The letter says in-person learning is now on hold because a lot of students are sick with what might be COVID. The school says it's waiting on a lab to confirm results. So in the meantime, all kids in all grades will learn remotely and the school will be sanitized. Pfizer's booster shot for COVID is now approved for some people, and that means some people are signing up to get it. Tim Gordon breaks down who's eligible for the booster shot, and he also spoke to a woman who already got hers.
Studies show that the Pfizer vaccine starts to lose effectiveness over time. So now a booster dose is available to be given at least 6 months after initial doses. The first group that qualifies for a Pfizer booster is people 65 and older, but also those 50 to 64 with underlying health conditions and those 18 to 49 with certain underlying health conditions, and those who live in long-term care facilities. And finally, people 18 to 64 at increased risk to exposure. Think healthcare workers and teachers. We sat down with 81-year-old Nancy Duggan, who got her booster on Saturday. How are you feeling?
Fine, perfect. I have had no problem.
Nancy is diabetic. She got her shot at the Portland pharmacy where she goes for medications.
Walgreens 33rd and Killingsworth.
And how did it go?
Went beautifully.
Nancy is sharp as a tack and was right on top of making an appointment.
The day of the announcement, I called them and they said, well, we're not going to be ready till tomorrow, but if you go on our website, you can sign up, kind of thing. So that's how I did it.
No problem for her, but she knows plenty of older folks who just can't manage making online appointments. So she wants there to be an easier way. Now that Nancy's got a booster shot, she'll feel better about getting out of her condo.
I have tickets to Van Gogh, so I feel comfortable that I can go to Van Gogh, where I would say before I got this booster, even though I'd gotten the tickets, I wasn't sure.
A voice of experience who wants everyone who qualifies to get vaccinated.
The booster shot, just the regular shot, any shot. I had mumps twice, I had measles 4 times, I had chickenpox twice, I had it all. And I was one of the first sugar cube people for polio. So, come on, guys, it's not going to kill us. What's killing us is this virus.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Portland leaders, meanwhile, will vote this week on a controversial contract with the Clean and Safe program. The program was designed to protect and clean up the downtown area, but some people are against how Clean and Safe goes about its business. KGW's Galen Etland takes a closer look at what's at stake with this week's vote.
Downtown Portland is fighting to recover from pandemic downturns, protest fallout, and a rise in homelessness.
These services are needed now more than ever.
That's why the city is considering a renewed contract with the nonprofit Clean and Safe. The city contracts with nonprofits around the city to improve safety and sanitation. But in downtown specifically, critics say privately contracted security guards, sometimes armed, have a history of harassing the homeless.
We've asked so many times to stop the brutality in our streets.
Clean and Safe allows for private policing in public spaces with public funds while strongly lacking oversight, putting our most vulnerable community members at risk.
Some funding comes from tax dollars, but property owners and businesses can pay more for extra services.
General idea about tax money is that everybody pays the same amount, it gets the same protections, but these folks who have extra money get extra police officers.
The city postponed a vote until later this week after making contract changes to address months of community concerns. The new contract would create more city oversight and improve transparency, requiring Clean and Safe crews to identify themselves to the public and be subject to complaints. Cleaning services would be maintained with added resources to help the homeless community and address mental health.
No sector can do it alone. It's going to take all of us working together to restore downtown to its former beauty and vitality.
Supporters want the city to renew the $25 million 5-year contract.
And we are grateful for their service.
The city of Portland continues to face enormous challenges, and we are at a critical point in time.
One of the contracted programs through the group Central City Concern hires people who are homeless or disadvantaged to clean downtown. In 2020, they picked up 73,000 bags of trash, 47,000 needles on the streets, 17,000 in drop boxes, and removed 41,000 graffiti tags and 46,000 biohazards on the streets.
Roughly 60 people a year find employment through this program and are able to start or restart their journey of independence and self-empowerment.
Commissioner Joanne Hardesty applauded small improvements, but agreed with critics that bigger changes need to address private security issues and concerns over the financial relationship between the Portland Business Alliance and Clean and Safe. The vote is set for Wednesday, but she and others say it should wait.
That we must hit pause and listen to the community that's closest to the problems and therefore closest to the solutions.
I just ask that you listen to what the community is saying to you in a collective voice.
Galen Etlin, KGW News.
In more local news right now, we want to tell you about a homeless tent that caught on fire and then spread to an apartment building. So this happened early Sunday morning near Southeast Powell Boulevard and 21st Avenue. No injuries were reported here. No one is displaced, but authorities say these types of tent fires are on the rise. According to Portland Fire, there was only one of these in February, but 64 in April. And then in May, homeless tent fires accounted for the most calls to Portland Fire. We want to take you to Northern California for just a moment here. That part of the state is getting some much needed rain right now, which should help crews fighting the Fawn Fire. The fire is forcing thousands of people to leave their homes near Redding. We know it's already destroyed over 130 structures across more than 8,000 acres.